So with the new year coming up, I wanted to talk about time. For me, it made a lot of sense that Samhain would be the end of the year, but it didn't feel right for November 1st to be the beginning of the year. So for a lot of years, I went back and forth between celebrating the end of the year on December 31st and celebrating New Year on January 1st, and then celebrating it with Samhain at the end of the year and November 1st being the beginning of the year. And it never really felt quite right. So eventually I kind of sat down and I thought, like, what the heck? None of this feels right. And eventually I thought about it really hard, and I realized that I actually really love like liminal spaces, those spaces that are like in between other spaces, that like transitional period where you're just kind of nowhere really, or know when, those spaces that aren't really defined spaces. And so I settled into this idea that maybe I could celebrate the end of the year at Samhain and the beginning of the year at New Year's. So for me now, I celebrate the end of the year October 31st, and I celebrate the new year on January 1st. And November and December can just be this period that isn't in the year. It's just this between period where I spend time to kind of reflect on the year that has gone by and what I want to do with the year that's upcoming. So when I plan out my year, I think about 10 months instead of 12 months. And I think about what I want to do from January through October instead of what I want to do January through December. And then I just kind of let November and December chill, which is great because they're chaos, right? Like, it's November, you got winter, you got Thanksgiving, and then you have solstice and Christmas and Yule, and you have the New Year's, and even if you don't celebrate Christmas, you're affected by Christmas, and everyone's got some kind of winter holiday going on. Anyway, November and December are just chaos. Businesses are wrapping things up. Capitalism has gone mad. Like, it's just chaos. So it's really nice to kind of take that time and just be like, you know, I'm not going to worry about getting things done. I'm just going to take some time to be in between time and chill out instead and not worry about getting stuff done. And so that is how I go about my year. Now, I'm not saying that you should do it too. That's not what I'm saying. It's not based in any kind of like tradition or whatever. My point is, there's not a lot of rules, right? Like, we kind of made up ours, right? I mean, like, days have a specific thing going on where sunrise and sunset happens, and there's a specific duration to how long that takes. Like, there's about 24 hours between sunsets, right? There's about 24 hours between sunrises, and we have like a body clock, and we all sort of kind of maybe agree about how long that is, right? So time is sort of a real thing, but like hours and minutes, we kind of like made up what those were. And the same thing with years, and like they're like, it's vaguely the same amount of time in between solstices and all that. So my point is, some of the stuff is optional. Figure out what works for you and go with what feels right. If you want to take December and like forget some holidays and don't worry about it, then do that. Go with what feels right for you and what works in your brain and what works for your practice. Some things are totally optional. Hope that helps.